The next thing I want to talk about is the choice to move back to New Zealand. It's what made you kind of come to that decision?
Holy. So yeah, there was a couple of years between 2010 and 2015 when I decided to move back to New Zealand, where I was kind of in a sort of rut. Tough times, good times, but mainly in that time it was tough because, like, when you think about it, I coming out of school, playing Australian schoolboys, and then going into club, and then it kind of was at a standstill with rugby. And then rugby league, I decided to leave rugby league because I wasn't enjoying it as I was playing rugby union. So I decided to leave league, and then a few other opportunities didn't come up, like with selection and stuff. So bro, I ended up bloody going to work with my old man for a couple of years.
Because what were you doing for work back then? Were you doing was it bricklaying or was it concreting? Yeah.
So, but I was in between, like I was doing labouring jobs here and there. I was on the benefit. Because I didn't know whether or not to be a rugby player or try and be a full-time rugby player and then work at the same time. And I've done jobs from like concreting, teacher aiding, before and after care teacher. I've done a lot. So, but in that time, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. Like, did I want to go and pursue my dream of playing rugby, professional rugby one day, or did I want to just pack that dream up and go work? So, yeah, it was in that time I kind of found my love for rugby again. So I ended up connecting with my cousin, and she helped me out with a lot of stuff on and off the field, and she just made me find that love for rugby again, because I wasn't playing rugby at a competitive level for 2-3 years, I think, or 2 years. 2 years. And then in that time, bro, I thought, nah, I'm never playing rugby. I'm never gonna make it, bro. Like, even Premier Grade club rugby back in Aussie, bro, I was like, and I was like, nah, I'm not playing rugby. I'll just go find a good job, work, and then go from there. But
I think there's so much. That's kind of the nature of our game, unfortunately, is you have a lot of people who have so much potential, and like yourself and a few other people that have gone to the right kind of platforms and the right pathways, and they've put in the work. They have the opportunities, but whether it's, I wouldn't say favoritism, but who you know, or kind of just the opportunities don't arise. There's so much talent that goes begging in, especially I would say in Brisbane and in Queensland, that the Reds could capitalise. But there's only limited cap space, and obviously there's people in your ear saying things like, I'd rather have this person over this person. So I think it's the nature of our game, unfortunately. But it's good.
Yeah, exactly what you said, bro. And like, not for me, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself, not getting selected for certain teams, and like for me, doing so well in schoolboy rugby and back in school, I thought that was just going to transfer straight from schoolboy rugby into like senior rugby. Like, I thought I was going to like make this team, make that team, but my pathway didn't really go to what I planned. Like, I really set my mind to, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and if I make all these teams, I'll be set for this. But because that didn't come to fruition, I kind of was real like, oh, what the, like, if that didn't go to plan, what am I supposed to do now? And bro, I was kind of like, I was in a bad state, as you know, with struggling with depression, and like, it was kind of like a real down dark side of my life. Still confused on what I wanted to do, didn't know what I wanted to do. But then when I reconnected with my cousin, she took me in. She was a big mentor for me. but at the same time, like talking to you guys, staying connected with you especially, and some of the boys back in Aussie, yeah, like you guys helped me heaps. So
you kind of felt like you rose above it a little bit. So
yeah, bro, yeah, and having your guys' support and then my cousin mentoring me, kind of giving that love of rugby back to me. I kind of said, yeah, no, it's either now or never where I'm going to make a decision, a life-changing decision to chase my dream or to go to the mines or do something other than my dream. So,
man, I think it's wicked as well. I think because like when a lot of people would talk about it, they would sit and look at Australian rugby and New Zealand rugby, and they'd put New Zealand rugby up here. So even though having that kind of that support system with your cousin and us, but you making that decision to arguably go to an even more difficult situation, that shows kind of your dedication, where you're coming into a provincial country that has so depth depth in rugby that you're like, yeah, if I'm going to do it, I'll do it in the best country in the world.
Yeah.
Like, just to give it a go.
And yeah, like you said, bro, it was having guys like we know, good mate of ours from school, going over to New Zealand and doing well over there. Kind of gave me motivation to say, look, if they can do it, I can do it. So yeah,
that's wicked.
My cousin helped me out. 2014, I ended up going back to third division rugby, playing for Logan City Saints.
Yeah.
Nothing too serious. Playing with a lot of old mates I played with back in juniors. Not expecting to bloody make any sort of team back then. Just wanted to enjoy my rugby, and bro, I loved it. It was like the most enjoyment I had come until that time in my rugby career, and I loved it, bro. Reconnected with a lot of old mates back in school, and just went back to where I went back to my roots, really. Like, went back to the Logan boys, Logan City Saints, and then after that 2014 season with them, we ended up winning it. And then my cousin was like, why don't you look at going overseas? And I was like, yeah, I've got nothing to...
Were you just thinking just New Zealand that time, or were you thinking of maybe Europe or like
No, I was
places?
thinking Europe at the start, because I was thinking, I hate to say this, but I was thinking, better location and the money's a little bit better, like the euro and the pound. So I thought, I'll see what's out there overseas. But I put a CV together, found a website called Rara Rugby, this random rugby website that you apply for, and they find you little club rugby gigs overseas. Yeah,
I remember posting my CV on there for coaching. It's a really good website. I like it. I like it.
And then bro, they had a couple a club in Holland, or the Netherlands.
I didn't realize how big rugby in the Netherlands and Holland and things like that is. Because when I coached at Ponsonby in 2018, one of my coaches that I coached with, his son is now playing for the Netherlands national team.
Yeah, bro.
And I was sitting there going, what? When did that become a rugby nation? So it's crazy. Yeah.
And because there's a close relationship between the Dutch or the Netherlands and South Africa.
Oh, really?
So a lot of guys that don't end up making these South African teams end up going to get a passport or a visa to play for the Netherlands or Holland, and end up going that route.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So, I just found that out, bro. Like, a couple boys over here are like South African, but they've got Dutch ancestry. So.
Okay, yeah.
But, back to going overseas. Had a few overseas gigs, but nothing really that attracted me to go over there. Because I had to pay more for my visa to go over there than I was going to get paid. So didn't end up going overseas. And then I asked if they could see if there was any clubs in New Zealand. And the two clubs they found were a club in Picton, that's in the Tasman region, and a club in the Hawkes Bay region called Napier Pirates, Rugby and Sports, and the two offers were really good. But I decided to choose Napier or Hawkes Bay, Napier Pirates, just because it was closer to where my family's from in New Zealand, Rotorua, and I had a mate of mine that was playing for the Hawkes Bay Magpies at the time.
Okay.
Down there too. So yeah.
And when you got there, what was kind of the comparison to Australian and New Zealand club rugby? What did it feel like? Was there a big difference in culture? Was there a big difference in playing depth? What did you think?
My first thought going from Aussie to New Zealand club rugby. New Zealand club rugby is not as organised as Australian club rugby. So I was thinking, oh damn, it was like the club rooms weren't as flash, and like the organisation of gear and trainings and stuff wasn't as organised.
That's something that we were really spoiled with in Australia. It's like everything like you had lots of sponsors, lots of gear, lots of support. It's something where even though rugby's pretty much a religion in New Zealand, that's what I found as well, is that you go from super organised and super attention to detail to kind of just, here's a jersey, just go have a crack. Yeah.
And the culture scene too was a big shock. Like the New Zealand club rugby culture is totally different to Australia. Like when I first came to New Zealand, we had to wear number ones, like a button-up shirt and a tie. In Australia, we only wear a polo. They had after-match functions after the club rugby games. They didn't have that in Aussie. Like after your game, you go home. That
was never something that I ever experienced. Like if there was a big match and there was a travelling team, then you put on a feed or you do something. But that's what I loved, is every like I said, coaching at Ponsonby, is every Premier Grade game that was on, you would all go into the clubhouse. There'd be a feed on for all the players, all the kind of support stuff, everything. That's what I really like about New Zealand club rugby.
Bro, and it's awesome. Like the visiting team coming from out of town would get hosted by the home team. The home team would put down a hangi, put on a feed for them, and then like after the like the speeches of each team gets up and does their haka to just celebrate the game and what was, and then show the Māori culture over here. So, bro, it was like, I first come over here, I was like, holy, this is crazy. Like, me being Māori but growing up in Aussie, I didn't experience any of this. So, for me, I was oh my gosh, my jaw dropped. I was like, this is amazing. Like, we get to do a haka. Like, for me, being Māori, bro, I love doing hakas. Don't even know how to speak te reo Māori. I'm getting there, but
you're getting better and better every time I talk to you. Yeah,
bro, I kind of have to being from Rotorua, but I loved it, bro. Doing haka, learning a club haka, and then wearing number ones after the game, bro. It was really good, man. Really good. So,
I think that's something that we always vibed on, as we both grew up most of our lives in Australia, and me being Māori as well, and not speaking Māori and getting the opportunity. It happened for me a bit later, because obviously I'd come from the sunny coast down to Brisbane in 2007, and then having the opportunity to do poly nights and doing hakas, and it's just that thing that you sit there and you dream of as a kid, and finally getting the opportunity. That's awesome.
Yeah, bro. So the culture shock was a big adjustment for me. It was a big adjustment, but it was an easy adjustment, like easy transition. Like I loved it. Like everything we were doing, I loved it. So when I first went to New Zealand, bro, I was only supposed to be here for 12 months and then go back to Aussie. So
and then look at you now.
Bro, 5 years later, bro, still here. Oh,
okay, so the club rugby stuff gone through, and then we've got the first Mitre 10 Cup gig. Was it still ITM Cup back then, or was it Mitre 10?
No, it was Mitre 10 Cup then.
Mitre 10. So with
they changed it that year to Mitre 10 Cup.
All right, and your first I guess pro contract besides the Gold Coast Titans is with the Hawkes Bay Magpies. Is that right?
Yeah.
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 What was that feeling when you got the call and you got kind of the opportunity to play for their organization? What was kind of your initial feeling?
Bro, it was quite surreal, really. Like I still didn't really believe it, to be honest, because like all that time not playing rugby and thinking I'll never get to this level again, to fast forwarding to when I actually ended up signing with the Magpies. Yeah, bro, it was quite surreal. But at the same time, when I first moved back here, I had a goal to try and make like a name for myself, and then try and work my way into a Mitre 10 Cup team, or at that time the Hawkes Bay Magpies. So yeah, bro, I put in heaps of dedication and work, heaps of mahi, and then at the end of 2015, at the start of 2016, at the end of the 2016 club season, ended up signing with the Hawkes Bay Magpies. So
nice.
Yeah, bro, real grateful for that.
So in that team, you've got a few pretty well-renowned names these days. So you've got the likes of Brad Webber, Ehai West, Robbie Fruin, Ash Dixon. Were any of those guys, were they any people that you kind of were watching prior years and watching them come up through the Super Rugby ranks or through the NPC ranks, or is it did you kind of just meet them and then just jump straight into working with them?
I knew who they were, like watching rugby and Super Rugby, like Ehai West and Brad Weber and that. I knew who they were, but at the same time, I felt like I was younger than them, but I'm older than them or the same age as them. So it was kind of weird in that aspect. But I looked up to them, like going into the Hawkes Bay Magpies system. Looked up to them, awesome blokes, like cool as dudes. Learned a lot from Robbie Fruin, just being in the same position as them in that Hawkes Bay Magpies group. But bro, I'll tell you, like before signing with the Magpies, I was still training and trialing with the wider training squad, and the coach brought me aside and was talking to me. He was like, Matty, because I hadn't been signed then or named in the squad yet, and I still didn't know whether or not I was being signed or being named in the squad. So before naming the squad, he pulled me aside or brought me into his office and he said, Matty, I just wanted to let you know that so at this time I thought I was doing everything right, everything what the coaches had told me to do. Worked real hard, and I thought I had earned a spot in the squad. And then he brought me into his office and he was like, Matty, before, I just want to tell you something before anyone else told you. Robbie Fruin has come back from Christchurch, and he's coming back from his heart operation, and he's come back to Hawkes Bay and he wants to try and make this team, so we thought we'd tell you. Yeah. And he told me, bro, I was like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, so we're looking at both of you for playing the same position. So we're both outside centres or midfielders. Yeah. Midfielders outside backs. And then I was thinking in my head, I was going, are you for real? Like, Robbie Fruin is battling with me to get the one position that's left in the squad. I was going, oh, hell. But at the same time, I was kind of down, but at the same time, I was real motivated. So I was like, oh, yep, sweet. That's me. I'm going to try and go toe-to-toe with one of the best in the world, Robbie Fruin. So, yeah, ended up meeting Robbie Fruin, bro, trained with him, got to know him. And then when it came to the squad being named, in the back of my mind, I was like, it's either going to be me or Robbie. And then one of us is going to miss out.
See, that's the thing, though. Like, it's like most people in that position would sit there and go, it's going to be Robbie Fruin. Like, they'll just put it in the back of their head and they'll go, if I get picked, mean. If not, all good. I knew this going in. But the fear, the mere fact that you're still going into that situation, you go, it's Robbie Fruin or me. That's something where someone's got to know, even if you get this much put up against you, you're still going hard. Yeah, it's something where you're always there.
Yeah, and I was thinking the same thing. Like, I was like, nah, they're going to pick Robbie. Nah, he's the man. He's world's best midfielder in the world. Like, it's going to be Robbie. But at the same time, I was like, nah. Fuck, I've put in too much work to not get this position. So
I'm Matty Garland. I'm getting that pick.
Nah. I had so much faith in myself that I could actually make that spot. So, but fast forward to the squad being named, got posted up, was going through the list and I saw Robbie's. I was like, oh man. And then I kept going through the list and then my name was down the bottom. I was like, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, and then the rest is history, bro. Had a good season with the Hawkes Bay Magpies. So, yeah.
Did you so you guys at that time, you guys were playing in there because there's two competitions. There's the Premiership, which is kind of the top tier, and then you've got the Championship. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we were in the Championship.
Yeah, and I think one of those years you guys got elevated to the Premiership, didn't you? Or did you guys stick?
Actually, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, we'll figure it out next time. But
that's
and so that kind of laid the groundwork and kind of gave you the experience. You had a few good games in there. And then what were you kind of looking for other opportunities? Other opportunities came to you, or were you just all Hawkes Bay the whole time?
Yeah, bro. I loved my time down in Hawkes Bay, and I wanted to stay. To be honest, I wanted to stay and continue playing for Hawkes Bay. But because I only had a year contract with them, I asked for a meeting after the season and just wanted to go in there and ask, like, hey, do I have a contract for next year? What are your plans?
Any security?
Do you want me to stay? Do I have to look outside or whatever? And then he just said, yeah, we don't have a contract for you for next year, Matty. We would like. He said that he would like me to stay in Hawkes Bay, go back to club, play club again, and then work my way back up through the club ranks, everything like that. And then at the same time, because my flatmates were moving to Australia as well.
Who are you living with at that time?
Good friends of mine from the Napier Pirates. They were a couple with a young boy, and yeah, they were awesome. They were like family to me when I was down there. So,
nice. Okay, yeah. and then was it they were moving to where?
They were moving to Aussie, and then at the same time, I wasn't too sure. Hawkes Bay didn't want me, or the Magpies coaching staff didn't want me, or didn't want me there, but didn't have a option for me to stay. So, and then at that time, by that time, my old lady, my mum, she moved back to look after my nan. But by that time, my nan had passed away. So there was an option to come home to Rotorua, where she's from and where she was living, to come back home and reconnect with family here and try and see what the club rugby was like up here. So decided to move back to Rotorua after that.
Was it did you have the kind of potential to look into with the Steamers looking at you as an option, or was it something where you went to club rugby and had to kind of prove yourself again?
Yeah, no, I didn't have a contract to come to or anything in Bay of Plenty. To be honest, I just wanted to come home, reconnect with family, because I hadn't seen my family in years growing up in Aussie. Like, you don't see them every day. So wanted to reconnect with family and just play club rugby and do what I did down in Hawkes Bay up here in Bay of Plenty. So
Okay, cool. And then when did we obviously went and played club rugby a little bit in the Bay, and when did that kind of Mitre 10 Cup picture for the Bay of Plenty Steamers kind of open up for you?
So it wasn't until like my first or second club training for a club in Rotorua called Whakarewarewa Rugby Club. My mum's from Whakarewarewa, so it was kind of like a whānau club for me. So a few of my cousins played for Waka, and it was kind of like the club I had to go play for. Okay. But I wanted to. I wanted to as well, just because that was my whānau club, and for Māoris, representing your whānau's number one. So
it's basically the equivalent of you going to play for Logan, like it's your family club, like it's something that we like. Although you're going to have to go there, and it's the loyalty perspective, but you kind of you still want to go play there. Yeah,
exactly. Okay. So, it was my second club rugby training, and I was just sitting on the old lady's couch watching TV one day, and the coach, the Bay of Plenty coach, Clayton McMillan, he rang me, bro, and just heard that I was back. Oh, not back, but heard I had moved from Hawkes Bay to Rotorua, and then just said, no guarantees, no contracts up for grabs, but if you want, we can have you come into the wider training squad, see how you play, train, and then go from there. If you're good enough, you're good enough. If not, nah. So I said, nah, bro, any opportunities are good opportunities. So ended up doing it that way, playing club, doing well through club, and then
because I think the Bay, it's become like kind of a mini rugby powerhouse at the moment. Like you've got all the New Zealand sevens women. They all train in the Bay at the moment, or at least when I was in New Zealand. And and the Steamers have become kind of a powerhouse provincial union. It's when I was kind of growing up and watching rugby, it was all about the big ones. It was always about obviously the Waikato, the Auckland, the kind of Christchurch, Canterbury region, those kind of ones. But now everybody looks at Bay as kind of one of the top tier kind of provincial unions now, which is awesome. But
definitely.
Yeah, and obviously had a pretty good season and ended up winning the championship. How was that?
Bro, I'll tell you, the only twice, I've only had this twice in my rugby career. The same feeling I got from the 2009 State High First 15 team was the same feeling I got in the 2019 Bay of Plenty Steamers team, bro. It was like, culture-wise, it was great. On field was great. Off field was great. So I really think that everything that was put in place kind of gelled and rolled as a smooth machine, bro. So exactly like how we played and did it for State High was exactly the same way it rolled last year with the Steamers. So.
I think that's another kind of storybook kind of ending. It's something where it's been a decade since that. Do you feel like with that kind of championship win, and obviously you guys, Counties Manukau being relegated down to the championship, and you guys being elevated to the premiership, does it feel for you it's come kind of full circle? It's been a decade, and you've had all that kind of success in the 2009, and then you've had all those kind of downfalls in your career, and you've come back to this point. Do you feel it's kind of come as a full circle?
Oh, I didn't really look at it like that, the way you put it, bro. So, in a sense,
Or do you feel like this is just the beginning? Like you've got so much more to give, and it's just kind of your platform now.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. The way you looked at it, I hadn't looked at it like that before. But I can see that in a way. But at the same time, the way you said it before, like, for me, it after a good season, the goal is to kind of back it up again for this season. As you know, every rugby player has to stay consistent to get higher honours. So for me, yeah, again, the goal is to have another good season with the Steamers. And again, yeah, bro, it's pretty much the beginning of. It's really a revamp of my career, rugby career. So it's like, okay, I did well back in 2009. That was probably my highest. And then 10 years later, back to where I was back in 2009. I'm playing awesome rugby. I'm at a high standard, and now I know what to do to keep it consistent. If you know what I mean. So yeah, I'll just say that it is like a new beginning.
Nice.
And yeah, even though I'm not 19 again or 18, I'm 28. So bro, my career is just beginning really. So next level would be Super Rugby, and then just go from there.
Got plenty left to give. That's awesome. That's good. So what about the jump from playing most of your career in Hawkes Bay and the outside back? So you played a bit of wing, played a bit of fullback. What about the jump to playing back to centre again? How do you feel playing in the midfields?
Throughout that time between Hawkes Bay and Bay of Plenty, bro, I was still trying to figure out what position suited me or what was my preferred position. And I ended up finding it. It wasn't until 2018 and last year were the two seasons I ended up deciding, midfield is going to be my position, centre. Just because I love being involved in the middle, being that connection between the backs and the like the inside backs, like the halfback first five, and our outside backs, the wingers and fullbacks. So and you get some good quality ball.
Especially from that back line. I mean, you got a pretty good back line at the Steamers. It's something where
like it's stacked. Like when you look at it, we've got mainly all Super Rugby backs in our back line. So no,
that's good.
Crazy.
Okay, all right. Any funny stories from the Steamers over the years, or any kind of like high moments besides the kind of this year's championship win? Any other good memories, good stories?
Oh man.
Or any favorite players you like playing with? Any guys that in the team that you really gel really well with?
For me, bro, probably being like one of the older dudes in the team. One of the highlights of my season last year was watching this young talent come out of Bay of Plenty and excelling to Super Rugby honours. Like that, dude, bro. It's like, bro, it's exactly like looking at it like back in 2009. If you look at our first 15, the young guys like Curtis Browning and Chris Saltier. It's the same in our Bay of Plenty team, like looking at guys like Imone Narawa. And like Imone Narawa and Caleb Trask, like young guys coming through. Bro, that's highlights, man. That was my highlight, just watching those two carve up, and then now they're carving up in Super Rugby. So
okay. Well, last topic we're going to talk about, and just kind of obviously a bit of a smaller one because obviously the pandemic's kind of hit us all, but rapid rugby. So before we jump to talking about playing for the the China Lions. What do you think? Actually, we'll jump back a little bit in regards to Mitre 10 Cup.
Yep.
How important do you think that provincial union as a whole is for New Zealand or for the game of rugby? How important do you think it is?
What, Bay of Plenty?
Just the Mitre 10
union?
Cup as a whole. Just that competition. How important do you think it is in regards to the depth that New Zealand has?
Bro, I think it's very important coming out of the back end of this pandemic, hopefully, especially with this lockdown in New Zealand. The lockdown's supposed to finish on Wednesday next week, so the government will either take it to a level 4 to a level 3.
Yep.
So level 3 still doesn't give us the
green light.
The green light to train or be together or assemble. So I think Mitre 10 Cup is a big step of bringing back rugby to the status it was before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because New Zealand rugby at the moment has had a big hit, like financially, with all these sponsors, the borders being closed, like the restrictions, not being able to play Super Rugby, like the Super Rugby competition instead of international will be more domestic now.
Yeah.
So they're looking at doing a domestic New Zealand Super Rugby comp, like a 9-week comp or 10-week comp, and the winner of that, the top 2 of that competition play in the final, and then the winner takes all. So
okay, all right, interesting.
They're thinking of doing that, but Mitre 10 Cup as a competition is a big, how do you say, stepping stone to try and get rugby back to where it was before the pandemic.
I think it'll definitely be something that a lot of obviously, like Mitre 10 Cup, in some games you don't get the like turnout you have for like Super Rugby games, because obviously attendance smaller areas in provincial. But I think if it does get to a point where we're allowed crowds back at games, I reckon that the crowds will be so much bigger in comparison, because everybody will just be fiending for rugby. They want to go watch it. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. And like, because I think they're still in doubts of even All Black games being played this year for the rest of the year. So for the Mitre 10 Cup, it'll be a good competition for the All Black boys to come back into it, the Super Rugby boys to come back into it. So it'll be like a supercharged Mitre 10 Cup competition with all these superstars coming back to their provinces, playing for their provinces, and then the crowds, hopefully the whole of New Zealand will get behind it and
kind of revitalise New Zealand rugby. Yeah,
the rugby scene.
Man, we can only hope. Hey, that's something that I would love to see, especially for people back in New Zealand.
Definitely, and then hopefully, like once all that, like the Super Rugby and Mitre 10 Cup competitions start back up, then they can look after the club rugby as well. So, yeah. All
right, last question before we jump to rapid rugby. This is one that I have a bit of a disagreement with some people, but because I'm from like my whānau's from New Zealand, I've got a bit of a bias in regards to the provincial competitions. So you've got obviously like Mitre 10 Cup, NRC, like all those competitions. Would you say Mitre 10 Cup would be the top tier, the elite provincial competition in the world, or would you say that there would be another one that would be kind of above that?
Ooh, that's a good question, mate. Hecka. If you're talking region and
just provincial. So it's just like semi-professional provincial rugby.
I reckon if it's not number one, it's got to be one of the best in the world.
It's got to be like top 2, top 3 at least.
Top 2 at least, bro. If you can, if people can tell me a better provincial rugby competition in the world, then if you can find one, good. But Probably the only one that actually comes close would probably be Curry Cup, bro.
Oh, yep. Okay. Yeah, good point.
But
Yeah.
even Curry Cup, nah. Like I've had guys like mates from South Africa come to New Zealand, and they've said, bro, the provincial rugby competition #1 in the world would be Mitre Cup or ITM Cup.
Okay, good. That's the answer I wanted you to give. Okay, if you would have.
I want to know who's been debating you on this.
I'll tell you later. I don't want to call people out. Okay, last one. So we'll go over Rapid Rugby. So obviously, China Lions. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are they they're kind of a Rapid Rugby team that's been funded by the Bay of Plenty Rugby Union. Is that correct?
Yeah. So
or they have a stake in it or a pathway for their development.
Yeah. So Bay of Plenty Rugby and China Rugby and Football have a partnership.
Okay. Yeah.
So they've got a partnership, and they created a team called China Lions to compete in the Rapid Rugby.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're the first province to ever do it. To do that and go to partner with another organisation to actually play in a different competition.
Yeah.
And yeah, bro, it's awesome. Like, if we didn't have this pandemic, bro, I think Rapid Rugby would have been the future if you look at it.
That's what we were talking about off the pod, is that like Rapid Rugby, it's just getting its feet wet, and then the pandemic hits, and then you go, oh man, and I think it's something. It's good to see the Western Force back in the mix as well, and the Fijian boys having a kind of a platform for them to play as well.
And even with like the slight. There's a slight rule changes in a few areas of the game in Rapid Rugby. It makes the game a little bit more entertaining.
So for some of the listeners that don't know, what are some of the small rule changes?
So you can't kick it out on the full. So if if you're in your 22 and you kick it out on the full,
that's the opposition's ball. Yeah.
No. It's the opposition's ball, but it goes back to where you kicked it from.
Oh,
not
okay.
Where it went out.
Yep.
Yeah. So that rule kind of keeps the ball in play more.
Yeah.
So
it kind of takes away the kind of that territory kind of effect. Yeah. That more kind of northern hemisphere kind of game style. It makes it more exciting, right?
Yep. But on the flip side of that, there's a 40-20 rule.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So if you kick a 40-20, it's your. They give you the ball back to where you kicked it out.
Yep. So it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that. Actually, we had a guy who came in and he did an American. He was a guest speaker for an American coaching conference I went to recently, and we were talking about implementing different rules and trying to make their game more exciting, increase fan attendance, and make it more exciting. And we were talking about the 40-20 rule, is kind of having that rugby league style rule. Do you like that in playing rugby union, or do you kind of feel it's...
Yes, it's quite different, bro. So it's quite different, but at the same time, it not having that rule where you can kick it out on the full behind your 22.
Yeah. Having
that 40-20 rule kind of helps in a way for our kickers in our team. So.
And it adds more of a danger effect as well. So when you can't make an exit in your own 22, and you have to run, or even just try and like do a little chip kick or something, and that's the last thing you want to do in your 22, because if it goes the opposition, game over. Like that's a try scored 9 times out of 10.
It makes the game more exciting. It keeps the ball in play, and instead of our teams wanting to kick it out and win territory. Yeah. It gives the guys that have a little bit more razzle dazzle to have a go and show their skills. So
that's awesome. That's good. And how's kind of the kind of team dynamic? Because I've obviously seen the squad. You've got a few boys from China. You've got a couple of boys from overseas, from all over the place. Because you're all kind of from all over. Is it similar to kind of just a professional team, where you like a Super Rugby team where people would just get thrown into the mix and you just kind of have to learn how to get along, or is it?
It was a lot like that, bro. Like, guys from all over came together. There was a core group of us from the Bay of Plenty, but there was still like over half of the squad that were from outside of Bay of Plenty. So it was good. So we came together. Didn't have much time together, but with the time we did have, we came together and won our first game against Fiji Latui. But I think if we had, so if we were still playing this Rapid Rugby season, bro, I think our team would have done really well to gel and come together the longer we were together. I think we would have done quite well in the Rapid Rugby comp. So it was real good, bro. It was like realizing that we're actually our dreams come true. Like, we're full-time professionals now. Yeah. And everyone was just grateful and wanting to just do real well for all the teams. So
that's awesome. Yeah. No, okay. Well, hopefully something to look forward to next season when obviously hopefully this pandemic is done and dusted by then. But bro. Yeah. Okay, so last thing we got. So I've got obviously it's the bonus point podcast. I've got a bonus
bro,
bonus
I love
question.
The name, mate. I love the name. When I seen it, I was like, holy, really good, bro.
So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to ask a bonus question, kind of put you guys on your toes. I know professional athletes, you guys are used to being kind of the kind of things getting put on the spot. But we'll say if you had to live with only one food the rest of your life, if you had to take every other food out, what would that one food be? Can be a meal, ingredient, whatever.
Bro, I would probably have to say, if I had to live with one food, probably be like vegetables or like vegetables and fruits.
Which one would you choose? Would you choose veggies or fruits?
Oh, did I have to pick one?
Yeah, you got to pick one.
Nah, probably vegetables, bro. Yeah, probably veggies. Cause
there you go.
Yeah, you can't really live on meat for the rest of your life, but you can live on vegetables and greens for the rest of your life. Even though I'm not vegan or plant-based, I've tried it. I want to go back onto it, but I love my meat taste. So there are some people that I know that are doing like the carnivore diet, so they'll do like just meat. And some people I know will do it. They'll say they'll do it for like digestive purposes, like they can't handle vegetables. But I'm like, come on, bro. It's you can handle a few carrots every now and then. Bro, I went plant-based for about 3-4 weeks, and it was probably the best I've felt, like energy-wise, feeling good, feeling light. But yeah, because we're just cooking really good, wholesome meals in this lockdown, bro. It's hard not to say no. So
I was talking to a mate the other day, and it sounds really bad to say out loud because obviously it's a pandemic, and there's people obviously passing away, and obviously it goes without saying, but prayers and thoughts out to the first responders and the medical staff and all the families that have lost loved ones. But this is kind of something where a lot of people are kind of seeing this as a blessing in disguise. Like you have this opportunity to do so many new things and get things done or try new things. It's not necessarily kind of something you say is a blessing, because obviously there's so much like terrible things going on, but it's an opportunity for people to do things they haven't done ever or in a long time.
Definitely. And I think it's spot on. Like, it's definitely a blessing in disguise. So like I've seen a few things like on the internet and stuff, like with all these countries in lockdown, it's giving like the environment a little bit of breathing space. Like there's rivers and streams and creeks that are clearing up from whatever pollution they were getting in, and like even when you think about like whānau and stuff, like everyone's so caught up in their busy lives, and then all of a sudden work and everything's cut off, and now they've got to just live with family and stuff. It kind of gives you a different outlook of whānau time, like you get to spend more time with family, reconnect with family you haven't seen for a while or haven't spoken to in a while. Like you and I getting to talk like this, it's been ages. So, bro, it's definitely a blessing in disguise. Even though it's really bad, but at the same time, it's really good too. So,
good. Okay, bro. Well, thank you for being our first guest on the show. I really appreciate it. Really, obviously, I say it every time I see you. Like the first time I watched you play live in the Hawkes Bay uniform. So proud of everything you're doing. Obviously, all my family and all our mates are all proud of what you're doing. We wish you the best. And only up from here, brother. We're ready to watch you do even higher and greater things.
Now, thank you, my bro. And I just want to say, so proud of what you've done, what you've achieved in your life, moving over to America and starting this podcast. And you've always been, out of all us boys, have always been like the trendsetter. So, bro, big congratulations to you and your whānau. And hopefully catch up soon, I think.
Bro, I'm hoping so. I want this guy. I'll be making a trip over to New Zealand in 2021 for the Women's World Cup. So bringing a tour over, coaching a team there. So hopefully we'll be able to, I'll make it a mission and catch up around then. It'll be September, October next year.
If he's want to come to the Bay of Plenty and play our women's team, bro, we'll line that up. Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right, brother. Well, thank you very much. All the best. Love you, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. Thank you, brother. Love you, and then see you soon.
Yeah. Thanks for joining them on the Bonus Point podcast. What's up, guys? If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And you can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.